Good morning, everybody. We've got we've got the Mighty Max back. No, no. We've got the Mighty Max back in the house, and we're going to be working a little bit more on. There we go. We're going to be working a little bit more on coming when called and staying within the boundaries of what is designated as our area. But I want to stress something for all of you that are working with your own dogs at home. I think now Max is 4 months old, 5 months old, something like that. Golden Doodle. Hey, get out of there. Nice thing about this long cord is no matter what, I can control where Max goes. Get out of there. He's walking right around the camera stand. Anyway, it's important that people recognize that the training process is a process. It doesn't end once the dog starts to understand things. You have to continue probably for a good year, year and a half, 2 years maybe even in some cases, with your consistency. Otherwise, the dog is going to go back into its unwanted behaviors, or at least some of them. You can't stop just because you think the dog has learned. The dog, especially puppies, especially young dogs, a year and a half or so younger, some cases even 2 or 3 years or younger, the dog is constantly going to be testing whether or not the rules are still the rules. And I can't stress enough how important it is, especially for my clients that go through one of my training packages, that you need to continue to follow through with everything all of the time. Not some things some of the times, everything all of the time. It's always consistent, basic work for a long time. You can't stop. You can't cut corners. You can't say, I'm too busy right now to follow through with something. I just need him to go potty and get back in. You can, but then you're taking a step backwards. So you better prepare to take 2 steps forward the next time you're out. Because every time you allow something, like right now, when he's trying to pull me here, you see, I'm going to bring him back in. I don't want him to pull me. Max, come. The reason we're using the long cord is because he's been struggling at home with his boundaries at home, and he hasn't been coming when called. Stay out of there. Come. He hasn't been coming when called. So we're going to re-emphasize this cord. I don't have a shorter cord with me today, so I'm using a long 50-footer. By the way, it doesn't matter if it's a 50-foot cord. The longer the better, because if you have a big yard or a big space, stay away from my camera base. If you have a big yard, big space that the dog is at, you can give him, in this case, I can give him 50 feet of freedom, basically 100 feet in circumference of freedom to be able to run around and be naughty or do whatever he wants to do and still control him. As time goes along and he responds to me every time I call him, at no matter what the distance is, Max, leave it. Max, come. Good boy. Good boy. And he comes at no matter what the distance is. Then you can start to cut a little bit off the end of the cord until you cut it all off, until he's got no cord left. By then, he will be within your boundaries, and come when called every time. So I'm just going to walk out here in the park and just give you an idea on what kind of controls I'm going to influence upon him as we're walking around out there. And by the way, this is going to be an unedited tape, as all of mine are. So if he happens to have to go potty, excuse me in advance. Leave it. Go play. see how I'm always unwinding this so that I get to the end. I can always reel him in, but if I unwind it so I can get to the end, I'm less likely to get tripped up by the cord. And he'll have more freedom. So see over here, we've got this stump. If he starts to go around there, I could let go of the cord and let him go around and pick up the cord again later, or I can reel in some of this cord and stop him from going around the stump. So as he starts to recognize that he has more freedom on the cord, I'll probably try to implement both techniques. One where I'll let him go around something and drop the cord and let him drag it through, and the other where maybe I'll prevent him from going. Drop it. Drop it. So again, he's got a little piece of grass in his mouth. I told him to drop it, he's not listening. I'm gonna bring him in, drop it. So as soon as I gave him a little tug, he dropped it. Come on. Hey, come on. Time I ask him to come, I'm going to praise him, or you can give him a treat too. Leave it. He's picking up, when I mowed the grass, there's clumps of grass. So he's picking up the clumps of grass. Leave it. No. Leave it. Max. Leave it. Drop it. Drop it. Drop it. No. Drop it. Back, back, no. Leave it. Around the tree, I'm going to let him go around it. Come on, Max. You see how I've dropped the cord and I'm going to let him drag it all the way around the tree. Come on, Max. Come on. Good boy. Good boy, Max. Now I can pick it up again. And I can pull this through, he can pull it through. Drop it. Oh, no. Drop it. Drop it. No. I think you kind of get the idea. And this is something that I will do with Max a couple of times a day, every day that he's here this week. And I'm going to give instructions to his owners to do the same thing. Again, you don't need this long of a cord, but again, the longer the cord, the more space you have, the more trouble he can maybe get into, and therefore you can make some corrections. When you do this, it needs to be complete focus on him, so that when it's time that he's out socializing with his family, the kids, he has a better understanding of what you expect from him. So make sure that you focus on him the entire time that you're out doing this little exercise. Do it for about 10-15 minutes or so, and then that's it. What are you chewing on there? Leave it. Leave it. Oh, he's got a stick now. This little guy gets into all kinds of trouble. He finds everything. But he's a good boy. He's a good boy. Come here, Max. You can bring your stick with you. Good boy. Can I have it? Drop it. Drop it. No. No. Good boy. Good boy. And that's it, really. We'll do some more. Have a good day.